My dear brothers and sisters, I wish to welcome you to the second Sunday of Easter. Today is the Divine Mercy Sunday, and I just want to share with you some few things from the first reading, Acts of the Apostles, Responsorial Psalm, Psalm 118, then the book of Revelation, and of course the Gospel according to St. John. Beginning from the first reading, we see clearly that many people were added, new numbers, no? Large crowd, large converts, large number of believers were added to the Christian family. This is because of the mercy of God. The mercy of God that is open, welcoming, accommodating, and accepting everyone. God is not interested, in whatever we may have done in the past. The mercy of God is greater, and bigger than all the sins we have committed in the past, and even the ones we are going to commit in the future. So the first reading reminds us of the welcoming, the acceptance of new converts, new believers who came to the presence of God. So the mercy of God welcomes everyone. The mercy of God accepts everyone. The mercy of God accommodates everyone. The mercy of God is inclusive. It does not, discriminate against anyone. And that's the first thing we see from the first reading today, that God's mercy accepts. The hand of God is always open. Look at that cross. The hand of God is always open. His heart is always open to welcoming everyone. In the same first reading, we see the healing of so many people, which is also the demonstration of the mercy of God. In God's mercy, He wants us to receive good health. He wants us to be renewed. He wants us to be reinvigorated. He wants us to receive total and integral healing. And that's what we see also in the first reading, that many people who allowed the shadows of the apostles to pass through them, they receive healing through the power of the risen Christ. So even though that this is post-resurrectional, the risen Christ continues to shower His people with divine mercy. It is so awesome, it is so wonderful that just as Pope Francis said that the name of God is mercy, the identity of God is mercy. God cannot sit back and watch you, struggle in pain. God is always there. Even in our weakness, He becomes our strength. There's one important thing among many important things that the responsorial psalm tells us, and that is the immutability of the mercy of God. The mercy of God endures forever. The mercy of God is unchangeable. God cannot stop showing His mercy because of you or because of me. As I always say, that the love of God is independent of our holiness or sinfulness. God will always love you and love me and love us, whether we are saints or we are sinners. Why? Because the nature of God is love. So, the love of God is independent of our sinfulness or holiness. Our sins or our holiness does not determine how God or why or if God will love us, because God's love is always with us. The problem there will be that we may not receive this love because we have enveloped ourselves, we have covered ourselves, we have veiled ourselves in our own sins. But the fact also there is that the mercy of God is eternally present. The problem there again is that our sins make us absent in the presence of God. So if you look at the responsorial psalm, you see clearly that it is God who is our helper through His mercy. God is our courage through His mercy. God is our strength through His mercy. God is our victory through His mercy. So God showers us with blessings because of His mercy, not because we are the best. You and I, we are not alive today because we are the best. But we are alive today because of the infinite mercy of God. In the second reading today from the book of Revelation, John reminds us of the mercy of God. When John found himself in that place, he felt so lonely, he felt so disturbed, but God touched him, transformed him, rejuvenated him, changed him. And that is what the mercy of God does for us. That moment you're so frustrated, you're so depressed, you're so disappointed, you are confused. You see the mercy of God coming. You see the mercy of God being made manifest. I have experienced this personally, that sometimes in the past that I was really disturbed, I was disappointed, I was depressed, but suddenly you see the mercy of God bring a kind of illumination and enlightenment to you that transforms you, that changes your story and uplifts you. And finally, from the gospel today, we see many instances of the mercy of God. Number one, we see that Jesus gave us the sacrament of confession, the sacrament of penance, the sacrament of reconciliation. Why? Because he knows that you and I, we are weak. He did not want us to remain separated from him because sin separates us from God. But because of his love and his mercy for us, he gave us this sacrament of reconciliation, that whenever we sin and we are separated from him, through this sacrament we can be restored. We can be reconciled with him once again. The second instance that I really love so much is what happened between Jesus and Apostle Thomas. The first time that Jesus came, Thomas was not there. It was not the fault of Jesus, but Jesus came back again. You know why? Because of his mercy. Because the mercy of God gives us second chance, multiple chances, and infinite chances. So the second chance that Jesus offered to Thomas is a demonstration of divine mercy. And as we celebrate this Divine Mercy Sunday, let us also ask ourselves, we are all beneficiaries of the mercy of God. Can I also be merciful to the people around me, my wife, my husband, my children, my neighbors, everyone that I encounter? Can I also show mercy? The answer is yes. We should show mercy. Every person deserves second chance. Because if God were to kill us according to our sins, I don't think any one of us will be alive today. Psalm 130 verse 3, if God would get a ball pen and write down our sins, all of us would have died, because the wages of sin is death. But through the mercy of God that is greater than all our sins, we are sustained every day. Happy Divine Mercy Sunday.